Lele pa network iliyonse muno Malawi. Uthengawo likukupatsilani ndi boma la Malawi.
Greetings and welcome wherever you're watching Luntha television this evening. My name is Brennan Mwanza with the news. But first, the headlines.
Vatican releases new sustainability program as it strives to go green. Opposition Democratic Progressive Party fought Chagras at my exclusive report this week. Jacqueline Saidi takes on board layman's reaction to Chagras address.
Now the news in detail. The Vatican City-State is taking one more step towards going green. The governorate announced its sustainability development program titled Ecological Convention 2030. We have more in this Rome report being read by Tandiwe Nzumara.
Energy comes exclusively from renewable resources. The Vatican already installed 12 charging stations for electric cars in 2019, but they are now expanding on this project. The environmentally friendly plan is yet another step towards putting Pope Francis' encyclical Laudato Si into action, a process that continues to progress even 8 years after its release. The Holy Father said the encyclical is aimed at everyone and that everyone should pray that all may receive its message and grow in responsibility towards the common home that God has entrusted to us all. The Holy Father said the encyclical is aimed at everyone and that everyone should pray that all may receive its message and grow in responsibility towards the common home that God has entrusted to us all. With this new plan, the Vatican is becoming one of the first states in the world to pursue sustainability projects to this extent to help reduce the impact of human activity on the environment.
Now, in a related development, the Episcopal Conference of Malawi, ECM, has today launched a translated version of the Holy Father's encyclical Laudato Si, which has been translated into Chichewa and Tumbuka to enhance understanding of the document by Catholics and people of goodwill for its effective implementation in the country. Mass for the launch took place at Maula Cathedral in Lilongwe, and the main celebrant was Right Reverend Montfort Stima, who is the ECM's Vice President and Bishop for the Diocese of Mangochi. Bishop Stima said Laudato Si is a gift from Pope Francis for humanity to realize and understand the love of God and show appreciation and obedience to God through taking care of the environment. We have a report.
Speaking during the ceremony, ECM Vice President Bishop Montfort Stima said the country needs to embrace the opportunity that has been provided via the vernacular documents. He said the Church believes that people will reflect on the book and adhere to the Pope's recommendations on the environment.
You have fed us with these sacramental gifts. Bring healing to our lives, that we may protect the world and not prey on it.
The translation process was done by Malawian priests with financial support from Troika and technical support from Caritas Malawi. In an interview, an official from Ireland said it is a duty of every citizen to take care of the environment.
Such an honor to be here this morning on this very special day. I'm really happy to be here. And it's really fitting that we finish our morning and the celebration of the launch of the translation of Laudato Si into your local languages.
The encyclical letter Laudato Si by Pope Francis is the most comprehensive Vatican document to date on environmentalism, ethics, and Christian faith. The document is intended for all people, not Catholics or Christians alone. Its arguments are founded on theological conviction. News in Lilongwe. I'm Helbert Katanda.
Former President Professor Peter Mutharika has faulted President Dr. Lazarus Chakwera and his Donse Alliance government over failing to bring tangible solutions on the affairs of the country. Mutharika was responding to Chakwera's Wednesday night address, in which the Malawi leader said the country economic turmoil was created by the carelessness of the former governing Democratic Progressive Party. Chakwera told the nation that his government had cancelled a 3-year $112 million extended credit facility he had inherited from the Democratic Progressive Party DPP administration because the Mutharika government was telling lies and his administration opted to present alternative facts to the chaos. We have more in this report.
In a televised address depicted from his Mangochi Perch House press conference, Mutharika said Chakwera cancelled the International Monetary Fund deal himself out of arrogance and ignorance. He said the Donse Alliance has continuously failed Malawians to the extent that the country is sinking in hot water. He was referring to the recent 44% devaluation of Kwacha, which he said has resulted into the soaring of prices of goods and commodities.
That it's a pity that in this country we have no president. We have a president, but we have no leader. The job of the president is to govern and manage the affairs of the country. But this president has abdicated his responsibility. He has failed to govern. The president is no longer interested in the affairs of the country. While Malawians are suffering, that's when the president hires an expensive jet and goes to some foreign countries for some photo opportunities. While Malawians are suffering, dying of hunger, struggling to access a kg of maize, he's busy playing golf with his newfound rich friends. While Malawians are suffering.
Some of the notable faces at the briefing include former Reserve Bank of Malawi Governor Dalitso Kambambe, George Chaponda, Chimwemwe Chipungu, Shadrack Namalomba, and Francis Mphepo. On Wednesday, Chakwera described the Democratic Progressive Party government as the root of all the calamities Malawians are facing. The president's speech, however, was the first time he acknowledged that the economy of Malawi was nearly collapsing.
Parliament has today finished its business for the first week of the third meeting of Parliament in the 50th session, with government describing it as successful. Leader of the House, Richard Banda, told journalists at the end of the business earlier this afternoon that looking at how members have deliberated on a number of issues, there is hope that Malawians will benefit by the end of this meeting. Cabinet ministers have so far presented a number of ministerial statements on socio-economic issues that are affecting Malawians, with optimism to end their suffering. Meanwhile, Minister of Finance Simplex Chichola Banda is expected to deliver the mid-year budget review statement this coming Monday at 2 p.m. Well, this is part of what Chimwendo Banda had to say.
Yeah, the Honorable Minister of Finance will be giving us a mid-year budget review statement on Monday at 2 o'clock. We look forward for that. Soon after that, Tuesday next week, political parties and their spokespersons will be responding to the statement by the Minister of Finance. After that, then there will be debate that members have to debate. It's a time that we have to save Malawians. It's a time that we have to talk how best we can join the president and support the initiatives that have been put forward by the Minister of Finance.
You are watching the news bulletin on Luntha television, and you are with me, Brennan Mwanza. We'll be back with more stories after this.
Luso Technology yatibweretsera nkhani yabwino. Lilongwe, Luntha ndi Mzuzu, chimwayi chofuna kuphunzira ntchito zamanja chomwe takhala tikudikirira chija chafika. Lusotech ikhale kuphunzitsa makosi akumtima kwanu, ndipo pamapeto mudzalandira certificate ndi zida zoyambira ku repairing courses. Ndipo 85,000 mudzalipira makosi awa: ICT, computer, tailoring and fashion design, electrical and solar installation, audio production, video production, phone repairing, computer repairing, electronics repairing. Pamene 200,000 mudzalipira makosi awa: plumbing, welding, catering, komanso course methodology. Registration ndi 5,000 kwacha. Kuti mulembetse, imbani foni pa manambala awa: 0995 545449, 0995 545449, kapena 0888 114412, 0888 114412. Olofikani ku maofesi athu omwe ali ku Lilongwe White Falls pafupi ndi Admark, pamene ku Luntha City Plaza Building floor number 3 ulimbe kumeneko. Pamene ku Mzuzu mutipeza moyang'anana ndi main gate ya msika wa mahardware. Masiku anotu somangokhala manjalende, tiyeni ku Lusotech.
Welcome back to our news bulletin. But before we proceed, let's take another look at our main stories.
Vatican releases new sustainability program as it strives to go green. Opposition Democratic Progressive Party faults Chagara's administration on decision making. Malawi Electoral Commission declares MCP's Willard Gwengwe winner in the Central by-election. And in our exclusive report this week, Jacqueline Saidi takes on board Lyman's reaction to Chagara's address.
Moving on, former President Peter Mutharika's security aide, Norman Chisale, will continue being on remand at Mawala Prison as the principal resident magistrate Roderick Michongwe has reserved his ruling on bail application to Tuesday next week. Michongwe has further ordered the state to disclose documents to the defense for the commencement of the full trial on Thursday next week. State lawyer Prescott Mwayolipo says the state is at liberty to add counts on the charge sheet, while Chisale's lawyer Stan Chira says They await the bail ruling. Robert Edward was at the court and explains more.
Now, there were a number of cases that were cited before the court from both the state in opposition to the bail application by the lawyers representing the accused, Norman Gisari, and the lawyers as well, in response to the replies by the state. They also gave a number of cases to prove to the court that the court should consider their application. And based on that, the court, the principal resident magistrate in Ilongwe, has said that is going to give his ruling on Tuesday, which is next week. And now it means that the accused, Norman Gisari, is going to continue being in the cooler, especially, particularly at the Maula prison until Tuesday. But earlier on, the state had indicated that they were ready to even start parading witnesses on Monday. But the court says it's going to be ready to start the full trial. That's going to be on Thursday. Before this ruling from the court, there were a number of issues that rose, including the issue that the court had to make its ruling on. That's the document for the state to rely on in opposition to the bail application. But after the adjournment, this is what a lawyer for the state said.
As you know, yesterday we were given an assignment to bring our witness before court for him to support the state as to why the accused person should not be released on bail. And yes, the witness was available at court, and he has actually testified as to why it is necessary for the accused person to be on remand. And you may wish to know that the said document, which was so contentious yesterday, as to whether or not it should be adopted or tendered in court, this particular document has ultimately been tendered in court, and has actually formed part of the evidence for the state.
Chisare is answering 4 counts, but according to the state, there may be possibilities for the counts to increase. That's building on what the lead investigator in this case, earlier on told the court. According to the state, they're saying the state, by law, is at liberty to even increase the counts to 6. The counts are related to the exclusive interview that the accused Norman Gisari had with Zodiac Television, and there the state came up with at least 4 counts, some of them, and they include that there is intimidation and of course obstruction of justice. For Luntha, this is Robert Edward.
The Malawi Congress Party MCP has scored a major election result after returning the seat in by-election in the Central constituency, but after facing a scare from an independent candidate. Malawi Electoral Commission MAC has announced the official results for the election earlier this evening, indicating that the party's candidate, Willard Gwengwe, has whitewashed other 2 aspiring candidates that contested in the election. MAC Chairperson Justice Dr. Chifundo Kachali said of MCP's Gwengwe scoped 7,913, representing 50% of the total votes counted. Jacob Kampawi, an independent candidate, came second after scoping 7,361 votes, while Democratic Progressive Party's Andrew Kowenza has amassed 403 votes. This is part of what Kachali said.
Monitored the voting that took place on the 16th of November 2023. We are satisfied that voting was conducted in an environment where the electorate were free to elect a candidate of their choice without fear and intimidation. We are confident that the results we are about to announce reflect the democratic will of the voters The Commission therefore declares this election as a credible one that has met legal requirements and international best standards, generally as far as free and fair elections are concerned. There was a total of 47,713 registered voters in Dedza Central constituency, out of which 15,898 voters turned out for polling, representing 33.34% voter turnout. Total void votes were 221, representing 1.39%, and the results of the poll are as follows. The first candidate, Willard Alfred Gwengwe, male, representing Malawi Congress Party, got 7,913 votes. The second candidate, Jacob Joseph Kaumpawi, male, independent candidate.
Now, getting to our last item. It requires a professor or perhaps a lecturer to break down Chaguara's machination on country's failing economy to a layman with little knowledge on mathematics. Chaguara believed Malawians would understand and hype him that he has delivered, but most of them would rather see action on the ground. It is against this background that our reporter Jacqueline Saidi takes on board layman's reaction to Chaguara's address in our today's exclusive report.
Malawi's traveling president waited until he returned from his 44th international trip in a record 3 years to acknowledge that his huge appetite for travel was an expense the stretched public finances could no longer shoulder. He banned them, well, until the new year. In his midnight address, the president repeated a few threats to investigate price increases triggered by his devaluation of kwacha by 44%, which he claimed was part of what he has been propelling Malawians in the 3 years he has been in office.
I'm sure you now know that securing this fresh opportunity for rebuilding our economy has come at a painful cost. It has come at a painful cost of enacting reforms in the management of our economy, our financial institutions, and our historic debt.
The president conveniently omitted to tell the nation why his government had cancelled a 3-year $112 million IMF program he had inherited from the Democratic Progressive Party, opting to present alternative facts to the chaos he has unleashed over the economy. The president's televised address declared that he has been working for the past 3 years for this moment, and the institution, including the European Union, would immediately release $70 million for budgetary support. The EU Malawi office could not confirm the immediate release of the budget support, though senior officials had indicated that they were considering the possibility. He, however, indirectly agreed that he has been wasting public funds through his monthly sojourns that have added up to 44 in 3 years. Over $10 million has been spent on his trips abroad, which have attracted widespread criticism.
It also includes $250 million from the World Bank for the agricultural commercialization project, which I'll be launching tomorrow, from which $30 million has been set aside for the procurement and distribution of maize to address threat of hunger that is looming over several parts of the country. It also includes our ability to meet all the requirements for 70 million euros in budget support from the European Union, $30 million in budget support from the African Development Bank, and $6 million in support from the International Fund for Agricultural.
The president triggered many people's attention when he smiled for a $174 million extended credit facility.
The most painful thing by far has been the recent devaluation of our currency to correct the false value of the kwacha based on nothing and rebuild true value in the kwacha based on production of exports. I know that this decision has caused a lot of pain, and I know that all of us now have to make big adjustments in spending so that we can prioritize those areas that are most productive and stay the course until our economy becomes productive and profitable.
But this could only be agreed upon by economic experts, but not mere citizens. Chakwera said things will change, but citizens are a mile away from those thoughts.
Business sikwete tendera chifukwa ndekuti makasitoma asokulibe komanso ndalama ngakhale kupezeka movota ikapezeka ikhale yopanda ntchito chifukwa palibe chimene tikuchitira.
Malawians have picked machination, telling him that it is too late, as the year is already coming to an end.
You know, this devaluation have affected us so much, very much, my friend. It has affected us very much. You know, we are failing to make business just because of the rise of petrol. Petrol is almost 2,500 chaktukwash. You see, I cannot afford to buy 2 liters.
The Malawi leader said the kwacha devaluation was necessary, as it is one of the hardest that Malawians would have expected to pass through before getting to Carnan.
Of course, the donors are there. They can help us. They can donate their monies. But the monies, they just go straight to those guys' pockets. You know, if I say those guys' pockets, I mean those politicians.
A comment from a driver cannot represent everyone, and that's why it is called an opinion. Others also have their opinions.
Ife zatikuza kwambiri kutengera ndi pano pamene zikwathu tikuyendera chakudya palibe anthu ndalama alibe. Tikapita kuti tikatenge katundu timatenga mokwera kwambiri mtengo, tikapita pansika kuti tigulise anthu amakanika kuti atani kuti agule. Pachi business yathu ikumasika pasi kwambiri. Pamene baba I think boma likanatiganizirako kuti mwina lipange ku balance kuti anthu opanga business mwina tax yawo izikhala yocheperako mwakuti kuti ifeso tizipezapo kena kake.
We have hiked the bus fares because of devaluation. On Wednesday, the president, desperate to be seen as working, announced already running the project as the new funds coming to Malawi after the ECF. The World Bank of Malawi announced in May a $265 million agricultural commercialization and improvement of food resilience project, and an additional $10 million for the most vulnerable. Reports indicate that the funds were already committed and would benefit 112,000 households by setting up 6 irrigation schemes and not tied to the ECF as indicated by the president. Other reports indicate that the EU has never made a firm commitment to release the $70 million claimed by the president. Human Rights Defenders Coalition has commended President Lazarus Chakwera for a job well done, but Senate finds it incomprehensive.
It was an opportunity for him to brag. He seized the opportunity to brag about the clinching of the IMF extended credit facility. It was nothing for the poor, majority poor. He said nothing about cushioning the pain of Malawians.
Professor George Phiri is a good governance expert.
He is good, but he not addressing the real critical issues affecting the economy of Malawi.
President Lazarus Chakwera also engaged in presenting alternative facts, only acknowledging the ECF and debt relief in 2006 by failing to acknowledge that President Joyce Banda and President Peter Mutharika managed to take the country back to an IMF program. Mutharika has teared apart their address on Friday, saying Chakwera cancelled himself the ECF out of ignorance. Chakwera, during the midnight address, also announced that some of the funds will be released immediately, including African development banks, $30 million in direct budget support. The president's speech, however, was the first time he acknowledged that the economy was near collapse, as speechless monitored just as late as 21st October 2023, when he launched the 2023-2024 Affordable Import Program. And Kasungu, he boasted that his administration was delivering the change he promised. Manseria speaking in Katabe when he launched a water supply project. He said Malawians were not better off than before and could look to a better future.
Well, we end with the latest in sports that Malawi national football team, the Flames, has beaten Liberia 1-0 in the ongoing 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers, a match that has taken place in Monrovia in Liberia. It was Chifundo Mpasi who scored in the 78th minute of the match. Well, that also concludes this edition of the news bulletin here on Luntha television. But before you go, a recap of our main stories.
Vatican releases new sustainability program as it strives to go green. Opposition Democratic Progressive Party faults Chagara's administration on decision making. Malawi Electoral Commission declares MCP's Willard Gwengwe winner in the Dedza Central by-election. And in our exclusive report this week, Jacqueline Saidi takes on board Lyman's reaction to Chagara's address.
Many thanks to Yamikani Nyambo for producing the bulletin today, and of course Roderick Kwani on the final control center. Today you were with me, Brenad Mwanza. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm wishing the best of the weekend. Goodbye.